Slocky, beginning again, it says, page 47, armed with some basic statistics in hand, we can now turn our attention to a very specific form of stalking. Many of the victims of auditory harassment also complain of a form of stalking referred to as organized stalking, gang stalking, or cause stalking. I prefer the term organized stalking as it more acutely reflects the true nature of the phenomenon. Organized stalking is the harassment of an individual by people unknown to them with the sole purpose of inducing psychological trauma. And that's deep. So you going into well, not just the MK Ultra shit, but you know what I mean, like, but that's a part of it. You know what I mean, like when you like, it's a guy got this channel on YouTube called Chronicles of Judah, and he goes into like deeper aspects of certain things. You know, so it's kind of fascinating. But like I said, I don't suggest everybody watch it because, you know, too much knowledge can bug you out. Book of Ecclesiastes says that as well at the end of the day. But like that movie, like I said, I tend to bring up since I've been doing the series, that movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, and he, you know, basically the government fucked with him, so people thought assumed he was crazy. He was always trying to tell people all these theories, conspiracy theories. They thought he was crazy, but in actuality, he did know something about a real conspiracy. So, you know, basically how they do people nowadays. You know what I mean? Try to paint them as if they're crazy. Like for instance, how they try to paint the truth. It's funny how that works too. You know what I mean? Like they'll try. You got all this evidence. You know, you got monuments in Ohio. I live in Ohio. You got monuments in Ohio where, you know, you find in Hebrew writings. Like you got the I forgot where is it at in Ohio, but it was one of the locations where they found some of the oldest Hebrew writing. You know, and then in Ohio they have those the serpent mounds where they found all them skeletons of those people 7 and 8 feet tall and 7 feet and up. You know, and you know it's a weird geometry and whatnot. But my point being, they were trying to label us and the truth as being crazy. Now you got all these, like I said, different, you know, you got all these books and studies and people that came, oh yeah, the Native Americans is Hebrews, but yet still they still try to make it seem like we're crazy. It's a lucky, you know. I ain't mean to read off. Uh, it says gang stalking is a term often used for this phenomenon. However, it is misleading that it involves a mental picture of thugs in matching jackets perpetuating the crime. This is not the case. Cause stalking, a term coined by author David Lawson in a similarly titled book, implies a racial or social agenda on the part of the perpetrator. The perpetrator. Again, this has not been shown to be an accurate term according to victim demographics. Surveys conducted by the human rights organization Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. And that's the spirit. I'm gonna bring back out that mic because when you take the time to think about that, like the two of what? Who is doing this though? It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. So they have the power to do this. Now, who is doing this? Take the time to think about it. Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Who are the people that had a term called manifest destiny? Who came up with that terminology? And it was spiritual, it was of the Most High. You know, that's why they was able to do it. But they said they had the divine right to just conquer and keep on rolling over. You know, just like Alexander the Great. That's how you know they're the same people. You know, he had that same mentality. If his troops would have, or his soldiers wanted to keep on going on, he would have kept on trying to conquer as much as he could. That's so. It's funny, like the brother was bringing out about how Donald Trump says he's not a warmonger, but he's the most warmongering people in the world. On one hand, the day before, he like, we're gonna sanction you and you'll just be fucked up for a very long time. But then we're not trying to warmonger. But also, Iran said that shit, you know, these sanctions is an act of war in themselves. You know, it says, and they cover fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And who have they oppressed? They oppressed the Israelite man first and foremost because, you know, they wouldn't even tell us our nationality. You know what I mean? They didn't even tell us who we were. They actually hid our history from us and lied to us and gave us a whole totally different history. You know what I mean? You're just a African. You know what I mean? Shit like that movie Planet of the Apes. You're just a damn dirty ape. You know what I mean? Verse 3. Therefore saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which he shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye slack it, neither shall ye go haltingly, for this time is evil. And he said for that family, for those people. Let's go into the word family. Families H49 for clan, family, tribe, people, nation. Enough said. In that day, verse 4, in that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation, and shall be lament, a wail, mourning. And that's what you go into the book of Lamentations. It was about wailing. They, know, um, Jeremiah was basically talking about the condition of the people, He was crying out, because he's fucked up. So against he said a parable against you, a lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he have divided our fields. That's what I just wanted to get at the end of the day. Shalakia. See, this one ain't really going into the technology aspect of it. I should have read that before I jumped into it. Um, it says, surveys conducted by the Human Rights Organization Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance have demonstrated a relatively random distribution of victims of this crime. There appears to be no increased predilection based upon race, religion, profession, or culture. The only two common threads among the reported victims are female gender and a high incidence of sexual assault facilitated with date rape. Drugs such as rifenamide or GHB. A large number of male victims have also reported being raped after, whoa, surreptitiously ingesting date rape drugs. Those sexual assaults go largely unprosecuted due to the amnesiac effects of the various date rape drugs, as well as the narrow window of opportunity to detect them in the urine of the victim. Organized stalking consists of a complex myriad of actions on the part of the perpetrator that has undoubtedly contributed to the rise in the complaints reported by the DOJ. And it's deep because when you when you go into like for instance LSD or PCP, you know what I mean? Like that's why I was listening to the guy Chronicles of Judah. He was saying how like that drug PCP. He went into the whole Morgan Freeman's granddaughter and her boyfriend killing her, and how he's supposed to be on PCP, and that was a way to try and use it as a defense. But like that drug, the PCP, it makes you susceptible to what's the word to manipulation, basically. But where do you think these drugs was? I mean, like started at and came up with. That's why you had the guy Timothy Leary. I believe his name was Timothy Leary, that professor though that's what did all that time in jail, but was doing the LSD studies. You know what I'm saying? He supposed to went to jail and all that shit, but he's a Satanist and all that. When you go into the history of, like I said, this place is just like I said, it's a big fucking lie. You know what I mean? It really kind of piss you off. But they like I said, now they're going into these drugs that you can be taken advantage of and misled with. But you got this piece of gay shit. You like I said, you had that Franklin cover up shit. Like they was kidnapping young kids, and a lot of these kids didn't get returned back. You know what I mean? They didn't find these kids. You know, so what I'm saying, somewhere they sex slaves. You know what I mean, to these sick sadistic ass people. Uh, See, it says often, it says the stalking protocol used by the perpetrator, Salakia, the stalking protocol used by the perpetrators is not to be confused as actual surveillance. It's simply a harassment tool used in the form of psychological warfare. which I mean, Esau weaponized that. You gotta remember, like, I mean, come on, like right now, like you don't even have physical chains on you, but we're mentally enslaved. You know what I mean? And he not only has the Israelite man and woman, but he have pretty much his own people in the other nations. You know, like real talk. I was just talking to a 2/3, and he was sitting up there. He's saying, you know, when you take time to think about it, how everybody just isn't, how he psychologically had you believe that this paper money is real money, and you got people that kill and steal and die for this shit when paper money has no value. Like I said, we tend to say this over and over and over and over to show you how powerful, like the Most High has, to for you to be that cunning and conniving to actually everybody know that money, but like you said, well, not like you said, like the scripture says, nothing new thing under the sun. This is nothing new. You know, this go back to when you had the Templar Knights and they was doing, you know, this credit system. This is actually based on some witchcraft. This is actually based on something from the past. I was actually gonna do a whole little video about it because, like I said, it is a when you can create something from nothing, that's sorcery. So this whole fiat currency credit system shit is bullshit. And I remember when I first heard that, I didn't believe it. But then when I was coming to the truth, nah, I understand. Salaki, I don't mean to digress, and I'm probably going to end this chapter because this is not going. I was trying to more so bring out technologies as opposed to just you know, gang stalking techniques or whatever this is. Salakia.